Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to HBCU Game Day. You see it over my shoulder. You see that rattler ready to strike. That's because we have a couple of Hall of Famers from FAMU joining us now. Vaughn Wilson, you know that character. You see him on our platform all the time. And he's joined now by NFL great Wally Williams. These two rattlers are going to do something very special in the community in Tallahassee. They are going to put together next weekend, this weekend coming up, a very special camp for the art of the long snap. How about that? Long snappers. Vaughn, your athletic career, we don't talk about it enough, man, but that was a really big thing for you. Long snapping, and you were really inspired by the recent NFL draft and what you saw. Got to give us a breakdown of the camp, what inspired you, and all the information about what's happening this weekend coming up.
Well, thanks, Tolly. And yes, this weekend we're going to host the first ever, the inaugural Tony Messina Specialist Camp. And the reason we're doing it is because both of us benefited from Coach Messina. Wally more, I can't say Wally more than me, Wally longer than me, because Wally had Coach Messina at his high school as well as college. I had Coach Messina in college. And as a little bit of history, I actually had an academic scholarship at FAMU and did not play football my first year. But my second year, my sophomore in college, Coach Hubbard said 2 weeks before camp, said, man, I need a long snapper. I'll give you a full scholarship to be our long snapper. And of course, he knew that in high school, I long snapped as well as punted, kicked, and played tight end. And so it afforded me the opportunity of a full scholarship. And a couple of weeks ago, Wally and I were talking. I said, Wally, you realize 2 long snappers were drafted this year? And we also noticed a big disparity in high school football as I followed it these last couple of years. And in college, in a lot of HBCUs, there is a void in the art of special teams, punting, kicking, kick returning, and of course, long snapping. And so our camp is made to address those issues. It's our inaugural camp, but we've already gotten a call from the NFL. And so for our second camp, most likely the sponsors are going to be lining up because they even understand that there's a disparity in minorities in being skilled in the specialist skills.
Now, Wally, you did this at the highest level. You know, you go into the NFL out of FAMU. I think you were a guard, right? And Coach Belichick, Bill Belichick, was your position coach. I got a fly in here that's just attacking me. It must be a Bethune. Some of the Bethune people sent a fly to the but Coach Belichick said, what else can you do? And you had to show him that you could, between your legs, throw what amounts to a reverse spiral, doing some long snapping of your own. You know, people watch this, you know, we kind of see it on TV and just take it for granted that you just go out there and just hike the ball. But, I mean, there's an art to this. Not just anybody can just roll out of bed and do this, right?
You're exactly right. I mean, you know, one of the things that you know, was very surprising when I got to Cleveland was the fact that Coach Belichick and that staff had no interest on what I did from an offensive line perspective. They had already scouted that, and they wanted to see what else I can do. What else could I contribute to the team, which is some of the same mantra that, you know, he uses right now today with the Patriots. So I told him I can punt. I told him I could play linebacker. All right, I could snap the ball. I can do just about anything on this football field aside of playing defensive back because I just don't have the speed, okay? But he gave me an opportunity to show those skills. And my career ultimately became somewhat of a Swiss knife, especially early on, because it was the more things that you can do to contribute to the team. And the way the game has evolved now, look, long snappers and field goal kickers, they are really the main ingredient and main focal point of our team. Special teams at the highest level, okay, is something that we work on every day. And it is a serious job, serious business. Now, I know this from growing up on the South Side, that special teams is not a sexy position in our community.
Right.
Okay, it is hard to get a punter. It is hard to get a field goal kicker. It is hard to get a long snapper and explain to these kids like, hey guys, you can actually make an NFL team now, okay, and make $1 million and just snap the ball. That's it. the rules have changed to where we can't hit our centers. Now, me and Vaughn can share some stories about getting blasted. Okay, snapping that ball.
As soon as the ball releases,
you're done. You're knocked out. And the rules have changed and just made it very efficient, has made it very, with injuries at the pinnacle of pro sports and sports as we know today, concussions, all these things. So it's made it a safer job, a safer way to play, and it's really a great opportunity for the kids who may not be that athletic, who may not run a 4.5, who may not be 6'6", 6'7", but they have a great attention to detail. They're not afraid to work, and we can find something for you to do right here in special teams, and it can carry you a very long way if you work hard.
So both of you guys are in the FAMU Athletics Hall of Fame. You go in together, Vaughn, 2015, right? That was your induction year?
Yep, class
That's right.
of 2015.
That's right.
So you guys picked up a lot of football talent and lessons at FAMU. Wally took his a little further, just a little further than Vaughn.
Just a little further.
He might have had some more God-given gifts there. But was it at FAMU where you guys really, both of you have been long snappers? Is that where you got it? Kind of tell us a little bit about that experience of again, a skill that is very underrated, throwing a spiral between your legs behind you, about learning that skill, I'm assuming, and mastering it at FAMU.
Well, I was the benefit of my brother. My brother was 4 years ahead of me, and he was a center at FAMU High School, and Coach Hubbard recruited him to be long snapper. So every summer and every spring, my brother would have to snap to somebody, and that somebody was me. So after a while, I started saying, let me stop throwing this ball back to him. I'm gonna turn around and snap it back to him. So my brother got a 4-year scholarship. He ended up, getting time at center, but his scholarship was basically being a long snapper. So I picked up the skill, and I want to say that my brother told Coach Hubbard because they were desperate. It was 2 weeks before the season, and they needed a long snapper in camp. I don't think any team will overlook a long snapper like that anymore. I mean, right. Full scholarships and 2 draft picks
right.
by NFL teams this year, the 6th round.
Right.
Let that sink in. 2 draft picks. Got people out here running 4.40s and they don't get drafted, but the long snapper who can throw that ball back 15 yards with a good spiral, he's drafted.
Mm-hmm. And, like Vaughn said earlier, my relationship with Coach Messina was back in high school. My mother taught at Rickards High School where Coach Messina was. And when I joined the football team and baseball team, funny, he was my baseball coach too. Okay, so it's my football and baseball coach. And spending that intimate time with Coach Messina during that time at Rickards, and him allowing me to perform and really looking at me as an athlete instead of a just strictly football player. I think he knew I can do some things. Like I said, he was my baseball coach as well. So he said, hey, we need a long snapper, so I know you punt. Once you get up there and try to long snapper too, because we may need you on field goals. And that's pretty much what it was for me. He taught me the entire process from long snapping to punting, and then it just carried over when I got to FAMU, and he happened to be there. And so Coach Riley, we were in a situation where our punters were hurt. And Craig Hall, who was a teammate of mine at Rickards, who Coach Messina also coached at Rickards High School, so he taught both of us how to punt. Craig had moved on, and we were just out of kickers and out of punters. And Coach Messina told Coach Riley, Wally Williams can punt and kick because I taught him how to do this in high school. And Coach Riley didn't believe it. And I ended up kicking off a couple games when Jimmy Vertuno actually had a bad hamstring and could not kick long distances. So I kicked off a couple of games, and I also was the punter at FAMU. And that was all through Coach Messina. I mean, he allowed me to do that. It was unheard of, probably somebody my size at that time, having that responsibility. But it was all through him, and he the one convinced the coaches and everybody else that Wiley can do something else besides play offensive line. He can kick and long snap for us too.
Wow, they always say it, next man up, and you were right there. Vaughn, maybe you've had a lot of great feedback for your camp, Vaughn. You were telling me that you woke up this morning, you had an email from Atlanta. Somebody's going to drive their son down who wants to participate in this camp. I know time is short, and if people are just hearing about it now, they might not be able to turn things around to get there this year. But this is a long game for you. If somebody wants to, try to make plans and line things up for next summer, this is just not a one-shot deal for you, right?
No, this is the launch. And if you need more information, it's Messina Camp, MESSINA Camp, CAMP. Not a S, messinacamp.com. All the information is there. And what we also want to do is track the kids that come into us this year. We're going to try to track them and track their progress and go out to some of their games and see them. So we really want to start an environment where we can foster better special teams.
Wow, that is so great. Wally, tell me, man, what is it like to be able to give back and use FAMU as a platform to this community that you love, the school that you love, the sport that you love, and one of the skills that you love from within the game, man. There's a lot going on right there.
I mean, it's an awesome experience. It's awesome to come back and share those times, share those moments, and try to project just how important they are, not only from a team concept and what we do on the field athletically, but from a personal element as well. There's a sense of accountability, there's a sense of camaraderie, and there's always a sense of chasing something that you really can't see. And I'm able to do that right now with these kids here locally. I'm coaching here, in the Big Bend area, and this is what it's all about. Coming full circle and being able to take all of these things that I've learned, from 7 years old playing, recreation football at Jake Gaither, all the way here and having the experience with so many great coaches and people who inspired me along the way, from Coach Messina to Coach Riley to Steve Ash out there and Mike Hickman locally, and then you go to the pros and you're dealing with Bill Belichick and Jim Haslett and all these great men that were able to give the information to me. So it's my duty to get that information back to the community, back to these young men, and hopefully they take that opportunity and take that information and turn it into something profitable for themselves.
Wow, that is so great, guys. A couple of FAMU Hall of Famers, Wally Williams, Vaughn Wilson. They have a special long snapping camp that's coming up this weekend in Tallahassee. Vaughn, you already know how this goes. People are going to be in the comments, in the DMs. How can I go? I need more information. Tell me about next year. Vaughn, we're going to handle all that bandwidth for you. We'll make sure that you get all those messages. And guys, I really hope that this camp is the best headache ever. I hope you have so many kids, man, that you're just out there running around trying to make sure you pour into all of them. And I hope it gets bigger and bigger every year. I think what you guys are doing right now is really special, really important, and really just bless you guys for what you're doing in your community.
Hey, Tolly, I just want to say one more thing. Not only are we teaching them this to become better football players, but I left college with zero debt. And that was because I could long snap. Zero debt.
Zero, okay.
We're not teaching a little skill. I left college with zero debt, zero balance.
Scholarship pays the bills, okay?
So this is money. This is what we're talking about is money. It's just not fluff. It's not just to make you a better high school football player. And also, if you're a college player and trying to get to the next level of pro, and you can add one of these skills in, you are preferred. So, hey, we trying to give them a little money. That's what we try to do.
Look, it's all about self-awareness, right? I mean, you got to look at Junior. If you thought that was going to be a 4.3 and he's more 4.6, think about some other things that are still within the realm of possibility, and long snapping is one.
Hey, the more you can do,
you got to add more to the toolkit. That's right.
That's right.
Well, guys,
That's right.
bless you again. Thank you so much for what you're doing, and we look forward to seeing some of those pictures and videos, because I know Vaughn is going to be on it. There's no question about that. So we're looking forward to it, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you for joining us here at HBCU Game Day.
Thanks, Tyler. Thanks for having us.